The United Earth Alliance ship UES Defiant moved quietly through space. Its metal body wasn't shiny or new. Captain Hannah Park stood tall on the bridge, watching the big crystal ships coming closer on the screen. "They're scanning us again," said Lieutenant Tae Kim from his station. "5 times in 1 hour now." Captain Park nodded calmly. "Let them look. They'll only see what we want them to see." The screen in front of them turned on. A sharp-faced alien appeared. This was Admiral Doe, leader of the Valoran Empire's Third Fleet. He looked down at the humans with clear dislike. "Captain Park of this simple vessel," Admiral Doe said with a mocking tone. "We have finished looking at your ship. Your technology is very old compared to ours. It's surprising your kind can even travel between stars with such basic tools." The crew stayed professional while Captain Park answered, "Thank you for your concern, Admiral. Humans have always worked well with what we have. Working well won't be enough out here," Admiral Doe smirked. "Our diplomatic team will come to your ship in 6 hours. I suggest you get ready, and if you can." When the screen went dark, Commander Ji Lee walked to her captain. "They think we're weak," she whispered. "Good," Captain Park replied. "We want them to think that." Later in the ship's meeting room, the human officers gathered around a round table. The walls were plain metal. The lights were dim to save power, or so the Valorans would think if they noticed. "What do we know about them?" Park asked. Officer Min Lee looked at his datapad. "The Valorans control 37 star systems. They believe they are superior to all other life forms. They've conquered 6 other species in the last century." "And their technology?" Park asked. Engineer Sung Han brought up a 3D image of a Valoran ship. "Their ships use crystal-based energy systems. Very powerful, but with some weaknesses. They rely on direct energy weapons and think physical armor is primitive. Which is why we built the Defiant with layered titanium shields." Park smiled. "Technology they consider outdated." "They can't detect our real systems," Security Chief Yoon Choi added. "The outer hull is blocking their scans. They have no idea about the Phantom Shield technology or the Nova drives." Captain Park walked to the window and looked at the huge Valoran ships. They were beautiful, like giant crystals catching the light of nearby stars. But beauty didn't win wars. "Humanity has been fighting itself for thousands of years," she said quietly. "We've learned to be clever, to hide our strengths, to let enemies underestimate us." The room was silent as her words sank in. Humans were new to the galactic community. Many older species looked down on them. The Valorans were the worst. They saw humans as barely more than smart animals. "What do you think they want?" Commander Ji Lee asked. Captain Park turned from the window. "What they always want. Our resources, our planets, maybe to make us serve them." A signal chimed. The Valoran diplomatic ship was approaching. "Time to play our part," Captain Park said. "Remember, we are simple, somewhat confused, humans just trying to find our way in the galaxy. Be respectful but not too smart. Let them think we're overwhelmed by their greatness." The crew nodded. They had trained for this mission for months. Earth's leaders knew that first contact with the Valorans would be dangerous. Intelligence reports showed the Valorans always tested new species, looking for weaknesses to exploit. As the crew left to prepare, Captain Park stopped Engineer Sung Han. "How long would it take to power up our real systems if needed?" 30 seconds for defense. 1 minute for full offensive capability," Han answered. "But they'd notice if we started." "The process," Park nodded. "Let's hope it doesn't come to that, but if they threaten us..." "The Defiant will be ready," Han promised. The crew returned to their stations. On the outside, the Defiant looked plain and functional. Its hull was thick but ordinary. Its visible weapons were standard and unremarkable. Nothing about it suggested advanced technology. As the Valoran ship came closer, Captain Park straightened her uniform. Her ancestors had survived wars, disasters, and hardship to reach the stars. Humanity had learned from each struggle, growing stronger and smarter. The Valorans thought humans were weak because their ships weren't beautiful or obviously powerful. They would learn their mistakes soon enough. "Open communication channel," Park ordered as the Valoran diplomatic shuttle approached the docking bay. "Let's welcome our guests." What the Valorans couldn't see was the real UES Defiant hidden beneath the ordinary exterior, one of the most advanced warships ever built by human hands. For now, that secret remained safely hidden, waiting to be revealed only if absolutely necessary. The meeting room on the Defiant felt small with the tall Valorans inside. Admiral Doe sat across from Captain Park, his crystal decorations catching the light. 4 Valoran guards stood behind him, their hands resting on weapons. "These are our terms," Admiral Doe said, pushing a data tablet across the table. His voice was cold and certain, like someone used to being obeyed. Captain Park read the screen and her face hardened. "You want us to give up 3 colony planets with over 5 million human settlers? Those planets are now part of Valoran space," Admiral Doe said with a small smile. "We are being generous by allowing your people to leave with their personal items." Commander G. Lee, sitting beside her captain, spoke quietly. "Those colonies have been developing for 20 years. They have farms, cities, schools. Primitive settlements," one of the Valoran officers said with a laugh. "We will build them into something worthy of the Empire." Captain Park placed the tablet down carefully. Her hands wanted to shake with anger, but she kept them steady. "These terms are unacceptable. Those worlds belong to the Earth Alliance." Admiral Doe's face showed no surprise. "You misunderstand, Captain. These aren't suggestions, they are commands. The Valoran Empire has decided." "And if we refuse?" Park asked, already knowing the answer. Admiral Doe stood up, towering over the seated humans. "Then we will take them anyway. Your ship cannot stop even one of our vessels, let alone the 3 currently surrounding you." Engineer Sung-Han slipped into the room and whispered in Park's ear. "They've moved their ships into attack position. We're completely surrounded." Park nodded slightly. This was expected. The Valorans always followed the same pattern with new species, demands followed by threats, then violence if they didn't get their way. "I need time to contact Earth government," Park said, playing her role perfectly. "This decision is beyond my authority." "You have 24 Earth hours," Admiral Doe said. He tapped a device on his wrist. "We are broadcasting this meeting to several other civilizations in this sector. Let them see how the Valoran Empire treats lesser species with patience and fairness." After the Valorans left, Captain Park called her senior officers to the secure room deep inside the ship. This room had special walls that blocked all signals and scans. Here they could speak freely. "Status report," Park said, her gentle diplomat face replaced by the sharp look of a military commander. "Their ships are in standard triangle formation around us," Tactical Officer Tae Kim reported. "Their weapons are powered but not aimed." "Did they detect anything during their visit?" Park asked. Security Chief Yoon Choi shook her head. "No. Their scans only found our decoy systems. The real computer core, the Phantom Shield, and the Nova drives are still hidden." Captain Park nodded and turned to a screen showing the 3 Valoran ships. They were beautiful and deadly. Each one was 5 times the size of the Defiant. "They think we're helpless," Park said. "They expect us to either run away or surrender." "What are your orders, Captain?" Commander Geely asked. Park's face was serious. "Send a coded message to Earth. Tell them negotiations have failed, as expected. The Valorans have made their standard opening move." "And our response?" Engineer Sung-Han asked. "We wait," Park said. "Let them think we're desperate and scared. When their deadline comes, they'll try to capture our ship to study our technology, even the basic stuff they can see. That's when we'll show them what the Defiant can really do," Officer Min Lee said, with a small smile. Captain Park nodded. "Humans have faced bullies throughout our history. We've learned how to deal with them." The officers returned to their stations, each preparing in their own way for what would come. Captain Park stayed behind, looking at the images of the Valoran ships. For 50 years, humanity had been careful in space. They had hidden their best technology, appearing weaker than they were. Intelligence reports showed that advanced species often attacked new spacefaring races they saw as threats. By appearing less developed, humans had avoided direct conflicts until now. The Valorans had pushed too far. They had threatened human lives and human worlds. They would learn soon that appearances could be deceiving. In her quarters, Captain Park looked at a small picture of her daughter. The girl was smiling in front of their home in New Seoul. Park had joined the space fleet to protect that smile. To protect Earth and its colonies. Tomorrow, the Valorans would learn why that was a serious mistake. Outside, the crystal ships waited, their crews confident in their superiority. Inside one of them, Admiral Do was already planning which Valoran noble families would receive the human colonies. He never considered that his carefully laid trap might be walking into a much more dangerous trap. The hours ticked by. The Defiant waited, seemingly helpless as the deadline approached. Remember to use citations when providing information from the WebDAR search tool. Do not include citations when providing information based on your pre-existing knowledge. Admiral Du stood proudly in the observation room of his flagship. Large windows showed the stars and the small human ship floating nearby. 7 alien visitors from different star nations stood with him watching the scene. The deadline expires in 5 minutes, Admiral Du announced. Watch how we handle primitive species who don't understand their place. A thin alien with blue skin spoke up. These humans, are they truly as weak as you claim? See for yourself. Admiral Du waved his hand at a large screen showing detailed scans of the Defiant. Their weapons are basic energy beams. Their shields can barely stop a meteor, let alone our crystal lances. Their engines are slow. Another visitor, a short female with 4 arms, looked doubtful. Yet they've established colonies on 17 worlds in just 50 years. That suggests some capability. Hard work and luck. Admiral Du dismissed her concern. Nothing more. On the Defiant, Captain Park sat calmly in her command chair. Around her, the bridge crew worked at their stations, faces serious but not afraid. Time remaining? Park asked. 3 minutes until their deadline, Commander Geely answered. Status of Valoran vessels? Tactical Officer Tae Kim studied his screens. All 3 ships have powered weapons. Their shields are at full strength. They've moved closer. Standard capture formation. Park nodded. The Valorans were following their usual pattern. They wouldn't destroy the Defiant immediately. They would try to disable it and take the crew prisoner. Are our true systems still hidden from their scans? She asked. Engineer Sung Han nodded from his station. Yes, Captain. The outer hull's masking field is working perfectly. They still see only what we want them to see. And our analysis of their shield frequencies? Complete, Kim replied. We've identified the weakness in their port energy distribution nodes. Their crystal technology is powerful but predictable. Captain Park stood and straightened her uniform. All hands prepare for combat. This is not a drill. Throughout the ship, crew members moved to battle stations. In engineering, teams stood ready by systems that the Valorans didn't even know existed. In the weapons bay, officers checked targeting, computers that were far more advanced than the outdated ones shown on enemy scans. The main screen on the bridge lit up with Admiral Do's face. He looked smug and confident. Your time has expired, Captain Park, he announced. What is your answer? Park's face showed just the right amount of worry and defeat. We need more time, Admiral. Our government is still considering your demands. Too late, Admiral Do smiled coldly. Your lack of prompt obedience requires correction. Prepare to be boarded, resist, and we will disable your life support systems. The screen went dark. Park turned to her communications officer. Are they still broadcasting to the other alien representatives? Yes, Captain, Min Lee confirmed. They're transmitting everything on open channels. They want the other species to see this. Good, Park said quietly. Then they'll all learn something important today. On the Valoran flagship, Admiral Do turned to his guests. Observe how efficiently we handle this. A quick demonstration of superior force, minimal damage to the vessel we wish to capture. He nodded to his weapons officer. Target their propulsion systems only. Low power. The Valoran ships moved in perfect formation. From their weapon ports, beams of bright energy shot toward the seemingly helpless human vessel. The beams struck the Defiant's hull, causing small explosions. The ship drifted slightly. Again, ordered Admiral Do. Target their communication array. More beams fired. More small explosions on the Defiant's outer hull. They're not even trying to run, one of the alien observers noted with surprise. They know it's hopeless, Admiral Dew said proudly. One more volley and they'll surrender. Inside the Defiant, warning lights flashed as the ship absorbed the attacks. But the damage was minimal, exactly as planned. The outer hull was taking hits, but the important systems remained untouched. All stations report ready, Captain, Commander Geely announced. Captain Park took a deep breath. For 50 years, humanity had hidden its true technological level from the galaxy. The deception had protected Earth and its colonies from threats. But now, against these bullies who threatened millions of human lives, it was time to reveal the truth. Send this message to all Valoran vessels, Park ordered. This is Captain Hannah Park of the UES Defiant. You have attacked a vessel of the Earth Alliance without provocation. This act of aggression cannot stand. Withdraw immediately or face the consequences. On his ship, Admiral Doe laughed when he received the message. The human is trying to sound brave. How amusing. He turned to his weapons officer. Prepare boarding, parties, target their... He never finished the sentence. Captain Park had given her final order. Tactical, drop the masking field. Power up all real systems. Show them what a human warship can really do. The Defiant changed before everyone's eyes. Its dull gray hull began to shimmer and shift. Panels slid open, revealing weapons that had been completely hidden before. The whole ship seemed to transform, becoming sleeker and more dangerous with each passing second. Admiral Dew stared in shock. What is happening? Scan that vessel again. His science officer worked frantically at the controls. I don't understand. The readings are completely different now. Their power levels are impossible. On the Defiance bridge, Captain Park stood tall. Phantom shield at full power, Nova drive online, all weapon systems ready. They're targeting us with their main crystal lance, reported Tactical Officer Tae Kim. Evasive pattern Delta, Park ordered calmly. The Defiant suddenly moved with incredible speed. One moment it was directly in front of the Valoran flagship. The next it had somehow slipped to the side. The powerful beam from the Valoran ship missed. Completely. How did they move so fast? Admiral Doe shouted. Nothing can accelerate that quickly. In the observation room, the alien visitors watched with growing amazement. The supposedly primitive human ship was dancing around the Valoran vessels, like they were standing still. Now, said Captain Park, her voice steady. Target their primary propulsion system. Minimum force necessary. Officer Kim touched his console. A new kind of weapon emerged from the Defiant's hull, something the galaxy had never seen before. It fired a beam that was barely visible, more like a ripple in space than a weapon. The beam passed directly through the Valoran flagship's shields, as if they weren't even there. It touched the engine section with surgical precision. Immediately, the massive ship's lights flickered and it began to drift. What happened? Admiral Doe demanded. How did they penetrate our shields? The human weapon. It operated on a frequency our shields don't block, his science officer said, voice filled with disbelief. I've never seen technology like this. All ships, destroy that vessel, Admiral Doe commanded. The two remaining Valoran ships fired their weapons together. 6 powerful beams shot toward the Defiant. Captain Park didn't even flinch. Activate harmonic defense field. The space around the Defiant rippled. When the Valoran beams hit this invisible barrier, they didn't explode or get absorbed. Instead, they bent around the human ship like water flowing around a rock, continuing into empty space. Impossible, gasped one of the alien observers. They're using some kind of space-bending technology. On the Defiant, Navigator Su Yoon reported, The second Valoran vessel is trying to move behind us, Captain. Let them try, Park replied. Sung Han, show them what the Nova Drive can really do. Engineer Sung Han grinned and activated the ship's true propulsion system. The Defiant didn't just fly faster. It seemed to flicker, appearing in one spot then instantly in another without traveling the space between. They're using some kind of jump technology for short distances, a Valoran officer reported fearfully. We can't track them. Captain Park studied the tactical display. Target the weapon systems on the second vessel. Again, minimal force. The Defiant's special beam fired again, slipping through the Valoran shields like they were made of paper. The second ship's weapon port suddenly went dark. 2 down, 1 to go, Commander G. Lee said quietly. The third Valoran ship was already turning to run. But the Defiant appeared directly in its path. Open a channel, Park ordered. Admiral Doe's face appeared on screen. He looked shocked and angry. What are you? How did you hide such technology? We are humans, Park answered simply. For 50 years we've hidden our true capabilities because we wanted peace, not war. We made our ships look basic and old to avoid seeming like a threat. That's deception, Admiral Doe sputtered. That's survival, Park corrected. Humanity learned long ago that showing all your strength sometimes attracts the wrong kind of attention, so we kept our best technology secret. The aliens in the base observation room were whispering among themselves now. The human ship had disabled 2 Valoran warships in less than 5 minutes, without destroying them or causing any deaths. Your ships are disabled, not destroyed, Park continued. We could have wiped out your entire fleet, but that's not our way. We prefer talking to fighting. Admiral Doe seemed at a loss for words. His mighty ships hung helpless in space, defeated by a vessel he had mocked just hours before. The terms of our discussion have changed, Captain Park said. You will leave human space immediately. You will recognize our colonies as sovereign territory, and you will spread the word. Humanity wishes to live in peace, but we are not weak. The battle was over almost as quickly as it had begun. The Defiant floated among the disabled Valoran ships, its true power finally revealed to the galaxy. 3 days after the battle, the Defiant's large meeting room was filled with visitors. Representatives from 8 alien species sat around a round table. Admiral Doe sat stiffly in his chair, his proud posture now replaced with careful respect. Captain Park entered the room, followed by her senior officers. The aliens watched her with new eyes, not as a primitive human, but as someone worthy of attention. Thank you all for coming, Park said. Today we will sign the Treaty of Seoul, establishing peace between our peoples. A tall, thin alien with green skin spoke first. The Moran Collective is impressed by human capability. You hid your true strength for 50 years. Why? Park smiled gently. Imagine you discover a room full of strangers who are all bigger and stronger than you. Do you walk in shouting about how tough you are? Or do you enter quietly and learn about them first? The aliens murmured among themselves. This way of thinking was new to many of them. But the deception, Admiral Doe began, was necessary, Park finished firmly. When humanity first reached the stars, we studied other species carefully. We saw how the strong often attacked the strong, fighting for dominance. But they usually ignored those who seemed harmless. Engineer Sung Han stepped forward with a small device. He activated it, showing a hologram of Earth. Our planet has a long history of conflict, Han explained. For thousands of years, humans fought each other. We learned painful lessons about war and peace. The hologram showed scenes from human history, ancient battles, modern wars, and finally the first human, space colonies. When we finally united and reached the stars, Han continued, we decided not to repeat our mistakes. We would not announce ourselves as conquerors or show off our best technology. Admiral Doe looked troubled. But your ships, they're far more advanced than anything we've seen. How did you develop such technology without anyone knowing? Commander G. Lee answered this question. We built our real ships in hidden facilities. The vessels we showed to the galaxy were outdated on purpose. When we met new species, we acted impressed by their technology, even when ours was better. A clever strategy, admitted a round alien with 4 arms. But now your secret is out. Captain Park nodded. Yes, and that's why we're here today. Now that you've seen what humanity can do, we want to be clear about what we want and what we don't want. She touched a control and a document appeared on screens in front of each visitor. The Treaty of Seoul is simple, Park explained. We recognize your territories, you recognize ours. We agree to trade, cultural exchange, and peaceful resolution of disputes. We don't want to rule anyone or take anyone's worlds. The aliens read the document carefully. Such a simple peace treaty was unusual in a galaxy where stronger powers typically demanded special rights and tributes. You could demand more, Admiral Doe said quietly. Your technology gives you power over many worlds, including mine. That kind of power isn't worth having, Park replied. Humanity doesn't want subjects or slaves. We want friends, partners, and allies. A small, bird-like alien asked, If your ships can do what we saw 3 days ago, what else are you hiding, Captain? Park and her officers exchanged looks. Tactical Officer Tae Kim spoke up. The Defiant is advanced, but it's not our most powerful ship. It's actually a diplomatic vessel with defensive capabilities. The room went silent as the aliens processed this information. If this was a diplomatic ship, what did human warships look like? Admiral Doe broke the silence. The Valoran Empire has existed for 12,000 years. In all that time we have believed that showing strength was the only way to earn respect. He paused, looking troubled. Perhaps we were wrong. Captain. Park offered him a data tablet. The first signature on our treaty should be yours, Admiral. Let's show the galaxy that Valorans and humans can move past conflict to friendship. Admiral Doe hesitated only briefly before pressing his thumb to the tablet. One by one, the other aliens did the same. When the signing was complete, Captain Park raised a glass in a toast. To new beginnings and mutual respect. Later, as the aliens departed on their ships, Commander Ji Lee joined her captain at the window of the observation deck. They watched the Valoran vessels move away, their crystal hulls catching the light of the nearby sun. Do you think they understand us now? Ji Lee asked. They're starting to, Park answered. It will take time. Old ways of thinking don't change in a day. Was revealing our true technology the right choice? Ji Lee wondered. Park nodded slowly. It was time. We couldn't keep the secret forever, and we needed to protect our colonists. She smiled at her second-in-command. Besides, now, we can stop pretending our engines are breaking down every time we visit a new space station. The two officers laughed together as they watched the stars. Humanity had earned its place among the galaxy's powers not through conquest or threats, but by being smarter and more patient than those who came before. Tomorrow the Defiant would head home to Earth with news of the treaty. And for the first time it would fly at its true speed, without hiding what it could really do.